Hello and welcome back to Everyday English Talk, the podcast that helps you practice English for real life. I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben. Thanks for joining us today.
In this episode, we're talking about something really important for both language learning and life. Being open-minded.
Yes. Being open-minded means being ready to listen to new ideas, try new things, and understand people who think differently from us.
That's right. It's easy to say, I'm open-minded, but sometimes it's harder to do, especially when an idea challenges what we already believe.
Exactly. But open-mindedness helps us learn, grow, and build stronger relationships. It can also make the world a kinder and more peaceful place.
In today's episode, we'll talk about what open-mindedness means, why it's hard sometimes, how it helps us, and how we can practice it every day.
We'll also learn some useful words and idioms to help you talk about new ideas and perspectives in English.
And don't forget, you can download the free PDF transcript and practice exercises from the link in the description.
So, here's a question for you. When was the last time you changed your mind about something important?
Think about your answer, and let's get started. So Ben, before we talk about how to become more open-minded, let's start with the basics. What does open-minded actually mean?
Good question. To be open-minded means you're willing to listen to and think about ideas that are different from your own. You don't judge too quickly, and you try to understand before you disagree.
Exactly. It's not about changing your beliefs all the time. It's about listening and learning. An open-minded person says, I may not agree, but I want to understand your point of view.
Yes, and that's important because the world is full of different cultures, opinions, and experiences. If we only stay inside our own ideas, we stop learning.
That's so true. When we talk to people with different perspectives, it helps us see the world from a new angle. It's like opening a window and letting in fresh air.
I love that image. And being open-minded doesn't mean we have to agree with everyone. It just means we respect that others may see things differently.
Exactly. Sometimes people think that listening to other opinions makes them weak, but actually, it shows strength and maturity. It means you're confident enough to hear new ideas without feeling threatened.
Right. I remember once, I met someone with completely different political views from mine. At first, I felt defensive, but then I realized, if I just listen, I might understand why they think that way. And I did. It didn't change my opinion completely, but it made me more understanding.
That's a great example. I had a similar experience when traveling. Talking to people from other countries really opened my mind. I learned that there's not just one right way to live or think.
That's the beauty of open-mindedness. It helps you grow. You become more curious, more flexible, and less judgmental.
Yes, and it makes conversations richer. When you keep an open mind, you learn something new almost every day, even from people you disagree with.
Exactly. And sometimes, it even helps you see your own beliefs more clearly because you understand where others are coming from.
So, being open-minded is really about being curious, respectful, and willing to learn.
Right. It's not about giving up your opinions, it's about expanding them.
I like that, expanding your mind, not losing it.
Yes, that's the perfect way to put it.
So listeners, what does being open-minded mean to you? Let's look at some useful words and idioms from this part.
First, perspective. It means a way of thinking or seeing something. For example, traveling gives you a new perspective on life.
Next, opinion. That's a personal belief or idea. For instance, in my opinion, listening is more important than talking.
Then we have curious. This word means wanting to learn or know more. For example, children are naturally curious about the world.
Here's one that's the opposite of open-minded, narrow-minded. It means not willing to accept or consider new ideas. For example, he's too narrow-minded to try new food.
And finally, the idiom, Keep an open mind. It means to stay ready to listen and learn, even if you disagree. For example, when you meet new people, it helps to keep an open mind.
These are great expressions for talking about ideas, beliefs, and communication. So Ben, being open-minded sounds great in theory, but in real life, it's not always easy, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone likes to believe they're open-minded, but when someone disagrees with us, it can feel uncomfortable.
That's true. Sometimes when people challenge our ideas, it feels like they're challenging us. We can get defensive and stop listening.
Exactly. It's natural. Our brains like what's familiar. New ideas can feel risky or confusing, especially if they go against what we've always believed.
Yes, and I think pride also plays a role. It's hard to admit we might be wrong or that someone else could be right.
Definitely. Sometimes our ego gets in the way. We think, I've always done it this way. Why should I change?
I've been there too. For example, I used to think social media was just a waste of time. But after talking to a few teachers who use it for education, I realized it can also be a tool for learning.
That's a great example. I used to avoid new technology because I thought it was too complicated. But then I saw how it actually made my work easier once I gave it a chance.
So often our habits or fears make us closed-minded without realizing it. It's not that we don't care, we're just used to doing things a certain way.
Exactly. And sometimes, culture plays a part too. If you grow up hearing one idea your whole life, it can be hard to accept something different.
Yes, culture shapes our thinking. From food and fashion to bigger things like religion or politics. It takes courage to question those things respectfully.
And emotions also make it hard. When we feel angry, afraid, or judged, our minds close up even faster.
That's so true. When we feel attacked, we stop listening. We just want to defend our point of view.
That's why it's important to stay calm and curious. Ask questions like, why do you think that? Instead of just saying, you're wrong.
Yes, being open-minded isn't about agreeing with everyone. It's about understanding before you judge.
Exactly. It's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to close your mind.
Well said. The world changes so fast. If we're not open, we stop growing.
Right. Open-mindedness keeps our minds flexible, and flexibility helps us adapt to new situations and people.
So, even though it's hard, it's worth it. Being open-minded helps us become more understanding and less afraid of difference.
So, listeners, why do you think it's sometimes difficult to accept new ideas?
Let's go over some useful words and idioms from this part.
First, defensive. It means feeling the need to protect your opinion when someone disagrees. For example, she became defensive when her idea was criticized.
Next, biased. It means having an unfair preference for one idea or side. For instance, the article was biased toward one political party.
Then there's comfort zone. It means a situation that feels safe and familiar. For example, trying new things helps you step out of your comfort zone.
Another one is judgment. It means forming an opinion about someone or something, often too quickly. For example, he made a judgment before hearing the full story.
And finally, closed off. That means unwilling to listen or consider other views. For example, she's very closed off to new technology. These are great expressions for talking about challenges in communication or personal growth.
So Ben, we've talked about why being open-minded can be difficult. Now let's focus on the positive side. What are the benefits?
There are so many. The first thing that comes to my mind is learning. When you're open-minded, you discover new ideas, new cultures, and new ways of thinking. It helps you grow as a person.
Absolutely. Every time you listen to someone different from you, you learn something new, even if you don't agree. It's like seeing the world through someone else's eyes.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and being open-minded makes life more interesting. You stop living in a bubble and start exploring new possibilities.
Yes, it can also help you become more creative. When you're willing to hear different opinions, you can combine ideas in new ways. Many inventions and great projects started because someone was open to something new.
That's true. Open-minded people often find better solutions because they listen first and decide later. They don't rush to judgment.
I think it also improves relationships. When you're open-minded, you communicate better. People feel heard and respected, even when they disagree with you.
Exactly. It's easier to make friends or work with others when you accept differences instead of fighting them.
And being open-minded gives you empathy, the ability to understand how others feel. That helps build kindness and peace, both in your personal life and in society.
Right. If more people practiced open-mindedness, maybe there would be fewer arguments and more understanding in the world.
I agree. It's not about giving up your own beliefs, but about having the courage to listen and learn.
Yes. Sometimes you even realize your first opinion wasn't complete. Maybe it changes a little, or maybe you see that other people's experiences are just as real as yours.
Exactly. Open-mindedness helps you broaden your horizons. You start seeing the bigger picture, not just your side of the story.
And that makes life richer, more colorful, more meaningful.
So, the benefits are clear: learning, creativity, empathy, and better relationships.
Right. Being open-minded doesn't just help others. It helps you become wiser and more confident.
And maybe a little happier too, because understanding brings peace.
I couldn't agree more.
So listeners, what's one time when being open-minded helped you learn something new? Let's check some useful words and idioms from this part.
First, growth. It means personal or mental development. For example, traveling can help your personal growth.
Next, understanding. It means knowing how someone feels or thinks. For instance, good communication starts with understanding.
Then we have empathy. It means the ability to share or understand another person's feelings. For example, empathy helps us build stronger friendships.
Another one is broaden your horizons. It means to learn about new experiences or ideas. For example, reading books from other cultures broadens your horizons.
And finally, see the bigger picture. That means to understand the situation more completely. For example, before judging someone, try to see the bigger picture. These are great for talking about personal development and communication.
So, Ben, we've talked about what open-mindedness means, why it's hard, and why it's so valuable. Now let's talk about the practical part. How can we actually become more open-minded?
Great question. I think the first step is simple but powerful. Listen before you judge. Instead of saying, "That's wrong," try saying, "That's interesting, tell me more."
I love that. Asking questions shows curiosity and respect. It helps you understand where the other person is coming from.
Exactly. The next step is to pause before reacting. When someone says something you disagree with, take a deep breath. Give yourself time to think before responding emotionally.
That's so important. I've learned that when I react too quickly, I often stop listening. But when I slow down, I can find common ground, even with people who think very differently.
Right. Another way to practice open-mindedness is to try new experiences. For example, travel to a new place, read a book from a different culture, or try food you've never eaten before.
Yes, those small experiences help you see that the world is full of different ways of living, and that different doesn't mean wrong.
That's a great point. And sometimes, being open-minded also means challenging your own habits. Ask yourself, why do I believe this? Or, where did this idea come from?
I like that. It's not about doubting everything, it's about being aware. You might realize that some of your beliefs come from old habits, not from real experience.
Exactly. Another tip is to surround yourself with diverse people, people of different ages, backgrounds, or opinions. It makes conversations richer and helps you grow.
That's so true. Talking only to people who agree with you keeps your world small. Talking to different people opens your mind and teaches you empathy.
And one more thing, be kind to yourself in the process. Becoming open-minded takes time. You might still feel defensive sometimes, and that's okay.
Yes, it's like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Every time you listen, question, or try something new, you're training your open-mindedness.
Exactly. So, practice listening, stay curious, and remember that learning never stops.
Well said, Ben. The more open we are, the more connected and peaceful our world becomes.
I couldn't agree more. Open minds create open hearts.
So listeners, what's one thing you can do this week to be more open-minded? Let's review some useful words and idioms from this part.
First, tolerance. It means accepting differences and respecting other opinions. For example, tolerance helps people from different backgrounds live peacefully together.
Next, respect. It means showing care and value for other people's views. For instance, even when you disagree, speak with respect.
Then we have explore. It means to learn about something new or unfamiliar. For example, she loves to explore new cultures through food.
Another one is flexible. It means able to change or adapt easily. For example, being flexible helps you handle unexpected changes.
And finally, the idiom, step into someone's shoes. It means to imagine what life feels like for another person. For example, to understand others better, try to step into their shoes. These are great for conversations about understanding people, diversity, and communication.
So, let's take a moment to review what we talked about today.
We started by explaining what open-mindedness really means, being willing to listen, learn, and understand ideas that are different from our own. It's not about agreeing with everyone, but about staying curious and respectful.
Then we discussed why being open-minded is hard. Sometimes pride, fear, or habit make us defensive. We like what feels comfortable, and new ideas can challenge that. But growth only happens when we step outside our comfort zone.
After that, we looked at the benefits of open-mindedness. It helps us learn more, become creative, and build empathy. It improves relationships and helps us see the world from a bigger perspective.
And finally, we talked about how to practice open-mindedness. Listen before you judge, pause before reacting, and try new experiences. Ask questions, meet different people, and challenge your own thinking.
Exactly. Being open-minded is a lifelong skill. The more we practice it, the more understanding and connected our world becomes.
So start small, stay curious, listen more, and remember that every open conversation is a chance to grow.
Open mind, open heart. That's the best way to move forward.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've learned that being open-minded helps us grow, learn, and connect with others in a more positive way.
Yes, it's not always easy to accept new ideas, but it's worth it. Open-mindedness builds understanding, respect, and peace, both in our own lives and in the world around us.
So, stay curious, listen more, and don't be afraid to see things differently.
And don't forget, you can download the free PDF transcript and practice exercises from the link in the description.
Thanks for listening to Everyday English Talk.
Keep learning and keep an open mind.